Hey, hi. So I wanted to make a video about a checklist of things, as a homeowner, you should look at. Either you are trying to buy a primary home or an investment. What are the things you should look at when you go and buy a new home? So basically, I bought my first home in US in 2011 and I had no idea how to buy a home. I just landed, talked to a friend, she was looking to buy a home, and I just landed to a builder, asked him, looked at the pricing and just bought it, like without any knowledge. I had not reached out to any realtor, any of that stuff. I didn't even knew that a realtor kind of thing existed in US. I just came to Round Rock in 2010, bought it in 2000, early 11, bought a house. So now, if you are first time buying a home, what are things you should look at? You take a realtor, that is a guy who can guide you through whole process, or you want to do it yourself, it's up to you. But as a person who has a little bit of experience in this, these are the things which I would advise you to follow. So basically, if you're buying a brand new home, you go to a builder, you look at the site, you look at the layout, and then you figure out this works for me or not, right? Based on your budget. I'm an investor type of a person, so I always advise people, if you're buying a primary home, it's good, but make sure you buy in such a way. Primary home does not make money, that mortgage has to be paid by you. So it should be in such a way that you buy a value of a house where, that mortgage is not a burden on you. You still have 20-30% savings apart from paying that mortgage in your life to make you comfortable. So if you are trying to buy your first primary home, buy in that budget, the sweet spot. That is first thing in terms of financial stuff. Then you should have savings, to pay 6 months of mortgage, which is separate from your stocks and everything. That should be your cash value asset, because if the market goes down, the stocks will go down, you will not sell it, right? So you should have 6 months of cash reserves. When you go for a home, there are a few things which comes with the home where first time home buyer does not understand. There is a cost of a mortgage, which includes your primary, your principal, your interest, your property taxes, your home insurance, your HOA expenses, all that stuff. So add up all the values, see what your mortgage payment is, right? And then the second thing is the home buying process starts in such a way that you go to a builder, look at the house, love the house, sign a contract. Then the next step is home builder normally does a lot of inspections of their own, right? You let the builder do their inspection part. You go through the loan approval process from the lender, which is most probably the builder's lender, right? Do shop around outside, do a comparative analysis, and then look at the best rates and ask the person you're trying to buy, match it. That is one stage of getting your finances sorted out. There are multiple ways to get a loan. You have an ARM, which is a 7-year ARM, 5-year ARM. You have a 30-year fixed loan, and then the builders are doing a 2-1 buy down program right now because of the rates, higher rates, which is like 2 years your payment will be X dollars, and then after 2 years the payment will be different. The rates will jump. So there is a 1-year buy down, 2-year buy down, 3-year buy down. 1 year the rate will be 2.99, second year 3.99, third year 4.99, and then it comes back to the normal rate. If you can get such type of deal right now, amazing. Or else you go for a resale. In resale, you buy a resale house from a seller, which is not a builder. The first step is to negotiate the pricing, put an offer. Once you put an offer, it gets accepted. You have a earnest and option period. That is like a 7-day you normally put it. You put an earnest money, which is normally 1% of your sale price. You put an option percent, which is 10% of your earnest money. And in 7 days, you have a right to go out of the contract. After 7 days, your earnest will be lost if you go out of the contract. Your option will be given to the title and you cannot get the option money back. Let's say you put a closing of 30 days. You do your due diligence in 7 days. Then you go back to the seller, adjust all the things which you figure out with him, like issues, and try to get a resolution who is going to fix it. Eventually, then you move forward. You come to a stage where everything is adjusted. You negotiate with the seller. You come out of the earnest period. Then you do your due diligence, hire a third-party inspection, which I highly recommend for all the houses, whether it's a brand new house or a resale house. Do the third-party inspection from an inspector, inspect the house, look at all the list of issues, and try to do it as early as possible in earnest period. Get all those resolved with the seller or the builder, right? And then finally come to a closing table. 3 days before closing, you will get a closing disclosure from the title company, which tells about all the fees, all the stuff, and what is your down payment required. Do your due diligence. Try to understand that very, very well. I'll create a separate video about closing disclosure document. And then once you go through the closing disclosure document, you are aligned, then the closing happens. It's a very, very easy process to buy a home in US. The chances of getting fraud done, because there are so many people involved, is very, very less. There's a title company, there's a lender, there is a seller, everybody is having their own cross checks. So you should be comfortable. A lot of people I have seen in my life, think too much, but it's not that complicated. So trust people and go from there. Now, once you close the house, that house is yours. That is a very, very high level of checklist of things as a first-time home buyer you should do, which is for primary. And if you are an investor, there are few things as an investor I look at, right? I love to buy a property in a community where my house is lowest in pricing, but there are other houses way more valuable than my house in that neighborhood. Let's say if a community has $1 million home, which is for 4,000 square feet, I'll buy something which is 2,000 square feet for 450, 500 over there for sure, because that community has a lot of potential. Is that community in an area where there is a lot of population? As an investor, you have to rent the house. So you need to have population there. If you don't have population traffic, you will not be able to rent it quickly, which is going to be then sitting on you, right? Where are you located? I personally think there are two major centers in Austin, Domain and Downtown. I always think about those two before buying a property. How easy my commute is going to be in future near these two main centers. Do you have I-45 near you? Do you have I-130 near you? Do you have I-35 near you? Do you have a Parramatta Express lane near your house? Because in end of the day, if you look at it, the traffic is becoming more and more and more. It used to take 30 minutes from Round Rock to go to South Austin to watch a movie in 2010-11 when I came here, because that was the only theater playing a Hindi movie. Now every theater is playing a Hindi movie, but if you want to go to that theater, it takes 2 hours. So we have to be very, very thoughtful what is going to be future 2 years or 5 years down the line in Austin. It is going to become way more congested. So you should have this outlet of highways, toll highways, or other highways to, for your property to grow. And how is the commercial coming? My biggest indicator is Costco. I have thought about it for last 6 or 7 years. I've followed them. When I came here, there was only one Costco. There are 6 Costcos in Austin now. Wherever they have come in, they have developed that whole area. If you look at Pflugerville, if you look at Georgetown, if you look at Kyle, wherever they have coming in, they are bringing a lot of stuff with them. So what are the amenities on that area coming up? So follow those trends, guidelines, right? Again, there can be many more things, right? Airport is one of the factors. I personally feel a lot of development happen in South Austin over the time, right? Because everybody wants their executive to have only lesser drive, when they land to the companies they want to go. So think about all the things and then invest. And if you have any questions, anything about this, you can always call me back and then we can discuss more about your investments, primary homes. My last advice is, 65% of people in America has become homeowners. The number is increasing every year over year. So which is a good sign. I have seen people who have lived in apartment complexes for years till they get the green cards. They didn't want to take a chance. So I understand they don't want to take a chance, but it's not very complicated. If you buy a property which is equivalent to rent area over there, even if you go back or you lose a job or something happens, right? You can always rent that property. And then still your renter will pay your mortgage. So there is no point in giving somebody else your money. I was talking to a friend, he came from India last year. He's renting a house for $3,200 right now. We looked at the numbers and then we saw that with this buy down program, he can get the same house for the same mortgage right now for next 2 years, right? So there is no point in giving somebody else your rental money. That money can go to you. You can save in taxes, you can save in principal, you can see your write-offs, all that stuff. So that home ownership is actually not very complicated in US. If you have a stable income, it is a very easy thing to do and it's very transparent. So that's it. That's my few pointers. When you buy a home, what are the things you should look at? And if you invest, what are the things you should look at? Same process happens in both the cases in terms of buying process. And thank you so much.